you will be at least familiar with one of the other film versions, which there's Omega Man starring Charlton Heston, and then of course more recently in 2007 is the Will Smith I Am Legend.
The only one to actually have the title from the novel it was based on.
Right, exactly, exactly.
But the kind of the furthest from the actual book.
Yeah, ironically enough, yeah.
Yeah.
This one though, The Last Man on Earth, is the most true to the novel. Overall, I mean, it does have differences, obviously, but it's definitely the closest as far as the contents. I mean, there's some things that they don't delve into as much as the book does, of course, but that's just how it is. Obviously, there's some things that get lost in translations.
Yeah.
Exactly. But enough out of me. Let's go ahead and start the movie. And of course, if you know how this works, if you're familiar with if you watched our last show, or if you've ever watched The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs, then you'll know that we will stop periodically to discuss things and maybe fill your brain, your ears with cinema factoids.
Fill your brain meat with knowledge.
Exactly.
All right. So
succulent knowledge.
Roll the film.
And folks, if you tuned in last time, you'll know that we had technical difficulties. Hopefully that won't happen this time. But things happen.
Ideally, if all is well, you should be seeing the movie.
Another day to live through. Better get started. December 1965. Is that all it has been since I inherited the world? Only 3 years. Seems like 100 million. An empty, dead, silent world. More of them for the pit. Every day there are more of them. They live off the weak ones and leave them for the pit. KOKW calling. Come in. KOKW calling. I'm on international frequency. Come in. Can't bear to see their image. It repels them. I need more mirrors. And this garlic's lost its pungency. There was a time when eating was pleasurable. Now it bores me. Just fuel for survival. I'll settle for coffee and orange juice this morning. But first, there's my life to consider. I'd better replace that garlic. I'll need more, lots more. Better stop off and get them. I can't afford the luxury of anger. Anger can make me vulnerable. It can destroy my reason, and reason's the only advantage I have over them. I've got to find where they hide during the day. Uncover every one of them. Now, where did I finish off yesterday? Madison Street to 31st Avenue. 11 kills. Over 3 years. And there's more than half the city I haven't searched. Just wide enough to keep the flesh apart so their body seal can't function. And how many more of these will I have to make before they're all destroyed? They want my blood. It's their lives or mine. And I still get squeamish. Wait. That garlic. I'd better put it back where it belongs. I can't live a heartbeat away from hell and forget it. one more stop I'll have to make. I can get rid of them later. Right now, I'm out of gas. Still fresh. But I'll take only what I need. They've got to last. They can wait, too. I've got my life to worry about. Those mirrors have to be replaced before dark. square blocks to search. How many of them still exist? How long will I have to keep up this search? I haven't much time left. It'll be dark in an hour. And now, 12 long hours before the sun will rise and drive them back to darkness.
Morgan, come out. Come out. Morgan, come out. Come out.
All right, folks. So welcome to our first break. Pop Condor, you need to. We can't hear your dulcet tones.
Oh, sorry about that.
There you go.
Too many margaritas. Anyway, yeah, I love that. I love that more for the pit. I love that. It's so foreboding, but it's also, it's like he's so used to it at this point.
Yeah, it's like
you
lawn
know?
work. It's like
Yeah,
I gotta take out the
exactly. Just a
trash,
chore.
I gotta mow the lawn, and oh yeah, I gotta move the dead bodies because they're
Just-
starting to pile up all over the place.
It's on the to-do list.
Yeah, you know, literally, it sounds like he's checking off a list. Today I have to make waves, and I have to do this, and then the dead bodies.
Yeah,
I
and
think
you know,
in the book he actually does have like a list that includes.
yeah, I think he does too. Yeah, so he's like, I can't forget this. But I hate when garlic loses its pungency. It's one of the
yeah,
worst
no.
things.
Yeah.
But Vincent Price is great in this movie. And he was such a prolific actor. He was in over 100 movies. Most people know him from House of Wax, the original version of The Fly, The Pit and the Pendulum.
House on Haunted Hill.
Yeah, The House on Haunted Hill.
The only thing he was legit bad in was a series of Scooby Doo. It was what was it? The 13 Ghosts of Scooby Doo. It was just god awful, horrible. I remember loading that up because I was like, "Oh, it's Scooby Doo. I'm going to do these cartoon reviews, right?" So, and then I hear it's obviously Vincent Price. I stop the thing and I go, "Oh my god, it's Vincent Price! It is." I check IMDb, I confirm it. Then I keep watching, and then it's like, "What did they do to you, Mr. Price?" Well, they have you locked in a basement where they like feeding you food in exchange for lines.
It was like I imagine him tied up. And there's like a literal like
exactly
pendulum just swinging over him.
Say the line, Mr. Price. Say the line.
He actually did a few animated movies. And episodes like you said, he did that. He also did this movie called what was it? It's slipping my mind now.
He did a bunch.
The Thief and the Cobbler. The Thief and the Cobbler. The Thief and the Cobbler. I think that was one of the last movies that he did. He plays this like evil sorcerer. It was similar to Aladdin in a way, somewhat. It like came out in the 90s. Okay. But probably my favorite. He also has a cameo in Edward Scissorhands. I think that was like one of the last things.
That was one of the last ones.
Yeah, because he was very old at that point. But one of my favorite things that he's ever been in actually was not even a horror movie at all. The Great Mouse Detective, which is one of my favorite Disney movies. He's the villain in that. He's Ratigan, Ratigan, the world's greatest rat. He's like this sort of just scheming, evil Dr. Rat who just plans on kidnapping the Queen of England and replacing her with a clockwork version of herself so he can like rule from behind the scenes.
As one does.
Yeah, as one does. And, some people might argue, though, that in this movie, it's a little outside of his wheelhouse as far as being somewhat more physical.
Well, that's the thing. Actually, Richard Matheson, the writer of the novel that this is based on, who wrote the screenplay, actually completely did not like him for the part.
Yeah.
In fact, he hated it so much that he refused to have himself credited in the movie.
Yeah. He used, was it Lance Swanson? Is that his? Or Logan
Swanson. A combination of his wife's maiden name and his mother's maiden name. Because if he didn't have his name in there at all, he couldn't get paid. So he wasn't willing to forego getting paid, but it was enough of a statement that he, I'm not going to have my name associated with this.
Exactly. Which is kind of funny though, because it didn't do that badly in theaters at the time. Like it did a decent job. But he did go on to say later on that he would have liked Harrison Ford to be playing Dr. Morgan instead of Vincent Price.
Which would have been interesting.
Well, I think so too. And I can kind of see, I think that Price does a good job overall. I mean, there are only a few things that, like a few scenes that he does, like his fight scenes are he's kind of just slapping them around.
Yeah.
But one thing I will say to credit him is that he insisted that, like, when he's loading the bodies into the car, he insisted that they not use dummies, that they actually did use real actors. So I got to hand it to Vincent Price for, being able to lug those people around.
They're like tiny people, but
that's true. That's true.
But still, it's good for them. Sure.
Right.
The other thing I thought was cool during all that was the all the voiceovers. So, you know why they did that, right?
Well, why what?
Why they did all the voiceovers right there?
Oh, because it was in a town. Because it was original. It was in they made it in Italy because it was cheaper. And this kind of is sort of in a weird way, I feel like it's sort of a predecessor for or not predecessor. I mean like a prototype for the what is it? The Fulci kind of. Yeah, like the Italian horror, which is definitely way different than American horror by far. And obviously this is not exactly the same as those movies, but you can definitely see where it kind of lays the groundwork.
Well, this is more of I think it was framed as a Gothic kind of movie. Whereas the later straight up horror.
Right. Yeah. Agreed. But
I mean,
let's
I
go
like
ahead.
it. So so everything done in Italy at the time, they didn't shoot anything with voice or with audio.
Yeah.
All of the audio was dubbed later on because that's just how they did it. Apparently,
Right.
going back to I think it was World War II is what I read.
Yeah. They're really weird. Yeah, really weird. Yeah, it's a weird sensation there because they do so many movies like that like Italian people, when they see a movie that's not dubbed that way, it's just the normal person's voice. They comment on how like bizarre it is. Like it just doesn't seem.
Well, yeah, that's because it was done that way for decades. Yeah.
Right. And Vincent Price is the only actor in this movie who actually speaks his own English lines. I feel like in this movie it's not as noticeable, which of course no one has seen. They haven't really seen yet because the only person besides Vincent Price who's spoken has been one of the infected, but they'll see later on. It's not as noticeable, but if you watch other Italian horror movies or any other Italian movie in general after this, it's very noticeable. And sometimes the person's voice that they use just sounds so different than what you would expect that it's kind of jarring in a way. Like if you ever watch like The House by the Cemetery, or or the original Zombie, it's very weird.
Yeah,
it seems very weird to us for our American ears,
Yeah. We got one question. So are there other people that aren't dead? So that would be spoiling it. That will be addressed.
You're just gonna have to see.
Yes.
But, let's roll that beautiful bean footage.
On with the show.
And we'll be back in a little bit.
Mom, I can't see! I can't see! Mom!
Another day. Another day to start all over again. Birds. Birds. sun's already set. They'll be everywhere.
It's Morgan. Get him.
Hey, Verge. Verge.
Yes? Oh, no. My makeup. My hair.
Hey, where is everybody? All I can see
Hi,
is...
Ben.
Oh.
Everybody's waiting
I can
for
hear
you.
children, but I can't see any children.
Uncle Ben! Uncle Ben! Hey, look at all those presents. Ben, Uncle
Kathy.
Ben, Uncle Ben! What did you bring me?
Open them and see. Open them and
Oh,
see.
come, come.
Little Kathy. I got a fun surprise. I'm gonna find
Take a look at this.
It's highly theoretical, Ben.
Theoretical. Do I have to remind you that theory is a beginning of solution?
Is Europe's disease carried on the wind? Is it, Ben?
Could be.
And if it is,
It isn't, Verge.
is that what you really think, or just what you'd like to think,
I
Robert?
cannot accept half-baked theories that sell newspapers. I'm a scientist, not an alarmist.
You're whistling past the graveyard.
Is that a commentary on my work at the lab?
We both know how hard you've worked.
I'm sorry, Ben. I just can't accept the idea of universal disease.
Uncle Ben, you promised to show us card tricks.
All right, Kathy. Who can resist that face? All right. Card tricks. Card tricks.
Robert, is it possible this germ or virus could be airborne?
Anything is possible, Verge. The best brains in the world have been running through this thing with a fine-tooth comb. The germ is visible under a microscope, but is not like any bacilli ever known.
In what way?
It can't be destroyed by any process we've been able to uncover.
But with the whole world trying, there must be a solution.
Hey, Mommy, when are you gonna cut the cake?
Right now, our problem is to cut that cake.
Hey, Mommy! Hey, Mommy!
Coming, coming.
The wind wake you up?
It always does.
How do you feel?
I'm all right.
Oh, don't get up, honey.
I'm not sick, Bob. I'll make
You don't
breakfast.
have to.
I'll be all right. Go on and read your paper.
All right. Oh, sweetheart, look, if you don't feel well, please go back to bed.
I'm just a little tired, that's all. I wish somebody would find a vaccine.
It's all we're working on at the lab, Verge. Maybe you better not send her to school today.
All right. You think you should go to work?
I have to.
Oh, Bob. Bob. I'm so frightened.
Everything's gonna be all right, sweetheart.
Well,
The bacilli are multiplying.
that kicks the bone marrow theory in the head.
This specimen shows a higher white count than when I put it on the slide. Those cells are still living, Dr. Mercer, off one another.
There has to be an answer. You heard that all communications are ended outside the continental limits?
Yes, I heard.
That leaves it in our laps. So we keep trying. Where's Cortman?
Well, he should be here by now.
You two stay on this virus theory until I decide it's exhausted.
Right.
Yes, sir?
Morgan will fill you in.
All right, sir. And what did the great man of science have to say today? More of the usual?
Oh, he's trying, Ben, just like the rest of us.
And nothing works. The streets are swarming with truckloads of bodies that they're throwing into that god-awful pit. And the dedicated Dr. Mercer goes on with his plodding, unimaginative approach.
You have a better idea?
Maybe. At least it involves imagination.
Ben, it's as simple as this. An unknown germ is being blown around the world. It's highly contagious and it's reached plague proportions.
And you don't believe some of the dead have come back?
Now, let's get to work.
And why are they burning the bodies? Why don't they bury them?
Because it's the best known way to control the contagion, to keep the germ from spreading.
That's what we've always believed at any rate.
You'd prefer us to believe in vampires?
If they exist, yes. There are stories being told, Bob.
By people who are out of their minds with fear.
Maybe. But there are too many to be just coincidental. Stories about people who have died and have come back.
They're stories, Ben, stories.
And why are the infected people always so tired in the daytime? Why can't they stand the sunlight? Why are they only seen at night?
Come here. Look.
I know his nose.
Look. Now, is this bacilli or isn't it?
It doesn't alter.
And this bacilli is found in the blood of every infected person, or isn't it?
To show me germs is not to refute these stories, Bob. Point is, if there are vampires, they exist in spite of these germs.
Come on, let's get to work.
And until further notice, this station will continue its around-the-clock coverage of this national disaster. And now, we switch you to the state capitol, where His Excellency, the Governor, is speaking from the Executive Mansion. Further, I have, in conjunction with the federal government, declared this state to be a disaster area. The public health is dependent on bodies of the deceased being burned. You must notify the health department immediately if you have a plague victim in your home. Under no circumstances should you gather publicly. In view of the dire emergency that exists, I intend to...
Anything new?
Huh? No, nothing new.
All right, and we are back.
So, to answer the question that someone asked earlier, the infected, they're not really zombies. They're more like a vampire.
Sort of.
But they're kind of like a zombie in how they move, which is a lot different than in the book, where there were some that were kind of like that. There was sort of like sluggish and stuff. There are others that were more quick. But the sluggish ones were like people that they thought they were really dead. Maybe I shouldn't say anything about that yet. I feel like that's
we're not quite there yet. But
yeah,
they are referred to as vampires in the book, whereas I don't think they're actually specifically addressed as anything in the movie. I mean, they're creatures running around doing stuff, but I don't think he said. Well, I mean, he might later coming up. I might have given away too much, but they're not really referred to as anything. So I actually, when I was reading the book, I started making a list. So are these things vampires or not? So mirrors. Okay, so they don't like mirrors.
right.
So which is vampires.
Or garlic.
But they smash the mirrors so they can meaning they can actually see themselves.
They can, and they can interact with,
So,
exactly.
And garlic, yes, garlic affects them, but when he's doing all his scientific stuff, he can't really figure out why. I mean, what is garlic doing?
Yeah.
And again, holy symbols.
Is it psychosomatic, or is it?
That's what it comes down to. So it's like, so they fit some of the criteria of vampires, but they also don't.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that's actually important in the book, and we're starting to kind of get into right now in the movie. What are these creatures?
It reminds me a little bit of it's one of those situations in a movie or a show where they don't want to say the word. It's kind of like in Shaun of the Dead, where Simon Pegg says, "Don't say the Z word." Don't call them zombies. It's kind of like that. Like they don't want to call them vampires.
Yeah, you don't want to offend them. Yeah.
Right. Right. But something that's funny to me is that Ben in the movie, who was played by Giacomo Rossi Stewart, which is he was an Italian actor. He was in more than 80 different movies, mostly just other Italian movies, but he was in an Italian version of A Farewell to Arms, the film of that. But it's funny to me that he's like giving Vincent Price such a hard time about you're not using your imagination. He's a scientist. It's not, that's not really, that's not typical, especially for the time.
That's another thing. Actually, so in the
maverick scientist.
In the book, he's not a scientist. He's just this guy who works at a factory. I mean, he's just completely. Yeah. I mean, he just happens to be, he's this guy who's there after the end, but he's not a scientist. Yeah. So everything he's doing is based off of like hearsay, like things he heard from other people. So again, tying that back to what we were talking at the beginning, it is kind of what he learned about vampires or whatever's going on. It was mostly like the social media of the time. So he's just this guy trolling Facebook going, okay, everybody's dying from vampires. I don't know. All right, so I'm going to start making steaks and hanging garlic everywhere.
Right. Yeah.
That's what you do, right?
Exactly. It's that spreading of false information. It's sort of, you hear, it's just everything through the grapevine and how it gets distorted and how that gets buried into people's subconscious and how it starts to, because humans are so, our minds are so strange and alien in a lot of ways that our minds start to trick our bodies, and the way that we react to things, has a physical response, like a Pavlov's dogs almost kind of situation, in a way.
And let's see. How far away is this from downtown San Francisco? I'm hoping they're better at recycling their bodies than clearly they are in this movie. But it's been a while since I've been out to San Francisco. I couldn't say. I mean, maybe the bodies just kind of lay there now until somebody picks them up and throws them into a burning pitch and fire.
Use them as alternative fuel. Just start burning.
There you go. Maybe just start. We're just waiting for California to become that more progressive.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
But so also at this point in the movie, Neville, the scientist, again, although he was in the book, is trying to determine the cause of the illness because people are, dropping dead all over the place. Like, what's going on?
Yeah. Also, I wanted to talk really, really quickly about Richard Matheson, the author of the book, and also the author of the screenplay the script for this. How he actually went on to write. He wrote a lot of other things, a lot of other stories that we're familiar with. Or at least we're familiar with the film version. A lot of people are more familiar with the film version. Like He wrote the Shrinking Man, or the movie version, which was the Incredible Shrinking Man.
Incredible Shrinking Man. Hell House.
Yeah, A
Hell
Stir
House
of
is awesome.
Echoes.
Sorry, oh yeah, Stir of Echoes. That
What
one
Dreams
Robin
May
Williams
Come.
movie.
Yeah,
What Dreams May Come.
Yeah.
That is the saddest damn movie.
Oh,
I
yeah,
mean,
very sad.
literally, it's like I can't watch that movie. I can admit that.
It's one of those movies that you only watch once because it takes such an emotional toll on you. That's how I feel about also Requiem for a Dream.
Oh yeah.
For a Dream or of a Dream? Requiem
for a Dream.
For a Dream. Yes, that's one of the saddest. That's super sad.
Yeah.
Anyway, he also wrote a few episodes of The Twilight Zone. He did
Yep.
The one with Shatner, Nightmare at 20,000 Feet. Which
Oh
is
yeah,
with
he did the one with the gremlin on the wing.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
that's such, it's iconic. It's amazing. I mean,
I
I
love
still
it.
look out whenever I'm flying near the window. I always still look out just in case
Yeah.
there's gonna be a gremlin on the wing. It's like
You
watching
never know.
Jaws and then going swimming afterwards, going,
Exactly.
there's a shark in the water. I know there is.
Better safe than sorry, you know.
It's the same deal.
He-
There's a gremlin
he
on the
also-
wing.
Exactly. There. You never know. One time you won't look, and then there will be a
Okay.
gremlin on the wing, and then everyone will be dead.
Good thing I was there.
Yeah. He also did Real Steel, he did Steel was the short story, but Real Steel was the movie with Hugh Jackman with the
really?
robots. It's like it's basically Rock'em Sock'em Robots, but the movie.
I've seen the movie. I didn't know he wrote the story.
Yeah,
on
he
that.
wrote the short story. Yeah, because it's just based on a short story about like robot combat, basically. And
right.
Hugh Jackman, yeah, he's in that. I don't remember who else is, but yeah, he, like you said earlier, you know, he wasn't crazy about Vincent Price, and I can kind of understand, but I do think that other than some of the physical stuff, I think Vincent Price does a good job. You know,
I think he just wanted somebody a little more serious, whereas Vincent Price he's a
campy.
dramatic. He's known for that melodramatic kind of air to him.
Yeah,
and and in the book, he's not really that. He's just kind of this down to earth, like, normal guy,
kind of an every
it.
man, except for he's kind of like an everyman, except for, I mean, yeah, for the most part, overall, just sort of like a working class guy.
Yeah, that's all. He worked in a factory. He read Bram Stoker, so he was like, "Yeah, I know about vampires. Vampires, yeah, sure, I got that down pat." And then he just started kind of studying it because he had no choice. He was just the guy left.
Yeah, I mean it was basically sink or swim at that point. He had to figure out something. One more thing I wanted to say about Richard Matheson was that speaking of Bram Stoker, he won the Bram Stoker a Lifetime Achievement Award because he'd been so prolific. He had written so many things. He even did some comics. He did all kinds of stuff, and he just had such a storied career. He even wrote. It's funny, also. Not to delve into this too much. This is a family show after all, but with his pseudonym Logan Swanson, I feel like it sounds like some sort of like someone who's in the adult entertainment industry, and it's kind of interesting because he actually wrote some articles for Playboy at one point in time in his life
using that pseudonym.
Yeah,
really?
Using that pseudonym. Yeah. So,
okay.
So yeah, that's a little bit more information probably a little bit more information than anyone required, but you know,
that's what we're here for.
Yeah, exactly. To harass your ear holes with things you didn't want to know.
Yes. And now you know. Cue the little NBC star thing.
The more you know.
Of course, we only read it for the articles. I mean,
Of
these
course,
days I think there's nothing but articles.
Yeah. We're well-read men. All right. Well, let's get back to the movie. We'll bore you some more here in a little bit.
On with the show.
On with the show.
Nothing.
Mommy, where are you? Mommy, I can't see. Mommy.
I'm going to call the doctor.
I said no. Verge, there's nothing they can do.
We can't just let her lie there.
Well, this way she has a chance. If you call a doctor, he'll report it. Do you want that?
Mommy, help me. Mommy. Mommy, please help me. Mommy, help me.
How can you be so sure she's...
Blindness is one of the symptoms. You're not to call a doctor under any circumstances. No one is to come into this house. Now remember that.
Mommy. Mommy. Mommy, where are you?
I've got to pick Ben Cortman up on the way to the lab. No one is to come into this house. Now remember that.
Who's there?
It's me, Ben. We're late. Ben, what's the matter with you?
Nothing, and I'm going to keep it that way.
Ben, look, let's talk about this.
There's nothing to talk about. You think I'm out of my mind. You laughed at me and my theory. You might be one of them.
Ben, look, you're ill. You ought to see a doctor.
No doctors. You take care of your life, I'll take care of mine. Now get away from here. You understand? Get away from here!
If you're looking for anybody but me, forget it.
Are they all gone?
That's right.
Is there any hope from the latest reports?
No, not yet. But believe me, Morgan, we'll find an answer.
When, Doctor? We need it right now. I need it.
You're the only one who wasn't afraid to come here today.
What's going to happen, Dr. Mercer? Is everybody in the world going to die before someone finds the answer?
No, I don't think so. I don't deny there's some strange evolutionary process going on, but mankind won't be destroyed. The fact that you and I are working here today is evidence of that.
All right, let's roll.
When? When?
I called a doctor. I had to.
I told you not to call anyone.
Mom, she was blind. She couldn't see. She kept reaching out her hands, groping for me. And then, all of a sudden, she was gone. And they came in. I tried to stop them. They took her.
I saw a truck out there. Was that it? Was it?
I'm sorry, lady. There's nothing I can do. Let that truck through. Get out of the way. Get back, folks. Nobody's allowed out there. Please, all of you, get behind those lines. Look sharp there. Move. Move along. Make way for that truck. Make way. Hey, you, mister! Come back! Come back!
Did this truck just come in from Market Street? I said, did this truck just come in from Market Street?
Mister, I don't know.
Hey, you don't belong in here. Get out. I said get out. I want my daughter.
Mister, a lot of daughters are in there, including my own.
Verge. Verge. Oh. No. I won't let them put you there, Verge. I promise. I won't let them put you there. Who is it? Who's there?
Morgan, we're going to kill you, Morgan. Morgan, do you hear? Morgan. Morgan. Do you hear, Morgan? Morgan. Do you hear, Morgan?
If Cortman thinks he can get to me by destroying my car, his wits are getting dull. This convertible would be nice. Probably handles well. But I can't think of comfort. There was a time when I shopped for a car. Now I'm looking for a hearse. This station wagon will have to do. Alive. It's alive. Wait! Don't run away! Come back here! Don't run away! Come back! Come back here! Wherever he is, I've got to find him. If I have to search every street, every house, every alley, every...
Okay, yeah. So we're gonna do a break before we get to any further with the dog, just because. Fair warning. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that this is not as bad as the 2007 the one with Will Smith.
Oh no. That legit. I mean, the rest of the movie was just utter garbage. But that scene, yeah, that's another thing I
Yeah.
can't watch. Like, no.
Well, the CGI in that really bothered me because I mean, like I'm not against CGI, although I do prefer practical effects when they are doable.
Yeah.
But the way that they made the infected look, they all just look bald and weird. I don't know. They look like
they were weird mutant things. So again, we're a little bit further on. So the nature of the creatures, we're still not quite there. So people have been asking, so what exactly is going on? So what is that there's this illness spreading. And in the book, they kind of talking about it a lot more. They try to narrow it down. They talk about there's maybe it's spread by bugs, and that's why they have all that netting up. Maybe it's spread by the air, and again, that's why they're kind of closing everything off. And one thing they're saying, maybe it's what was it? Germ warfare or dust storms caused by bombings during the war. And in the book, it's just called the war. So it's like, okay. So either they're referring to, like, I don't know, World War I or World War II, or there's literally some sort of post-apocalyptic war in the book that just never gets addressed.
I think in the book, isn't it? The movie takes place in the 60s, but I think the book takes place in the 70s, maybe. So maybe
I don't know if it's ever quite narrowed down, but yeah, it's just
it makes some future war,
dust clouds because of the war, and then people start getting sick. So they're trying to figure out what exactly is going on. Why are people getting sick?
Yeah, and nobody really knows anything, and so everything is just mere surmise. And yeah, so it's basically everybody kind of trying to, again, it goes back to the false information, getting spread around. People are like, well, I heard it was this. Well,
I know it's like, so I heard it was vampires because nobody can go outside during the day anymore. So clearly it must be vampires.
Right. And I have to say that still, like, the scene where he's searching for his daughter, and that's messed up. Yeah. It's so messed up. It's so, oh my God. It's very gut wrenching. And even for a movie at that time, like, man, that's heavy stuff. And especially when he's talking to those soldiers, and that soldier's like, there are a lot of daughters out here, including mine.
And he's just so matter of fact about it. It's like, he's already thrown so many bodies into that fire that he's just like, it's a thing now. Like,
it's kind of like what ends up happening to Morgan after a while. He gets sort of desensitized. And definitely, there's definitely some, I think that I just saw in the chat, Todd, my uncle, actually, mentioned the Nazi Germany thing. Yeah, I definitely think that has an influence over some of these scenes.
Yeah.
For sure. Also, I just want to say, damn it, Verge, I said no doctors,
Yeah. Doesn't would have been fine up until then.
Yeah.
Except it wasn't, because, as soon as his wife dies, there she is. Hello.
Yeah, I actually don't really blame her. I get it. But Emma Daniele was the actress who plays Verge, and she mostly did kind of the same thing with the actor who played Ben. Mostly was just an Italian actor, did a lot of Italian movies. She was in Guns of the Black Witch. And let's see what else. A few other things.
Oh, Kathy Morgan, yeah. She had.
Oh no, that's Ruth. I'm talking about Emma Daniele, who plays Virginia. She's in We the Women. That's what it was. I couldn't remember. Yeah. That was like the first thing she did. But yeah.
So 17 acting credits on IMDb, and I've never heard of any of them.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know what any of these
are. And then let's see, what else was I going to touch on? There was something else I was going to touch on. I really like how I sometimes, when you have a flashback, it doesn't work, but I think I like how they do it in this, because it really gives you a window into what his life was like before all this happened. And you can kind of see how, they hinted before. There's foreshadowing where he lifts up he picks up the baby doll and gets mad and slams it down.
You can literally see his life just getting winnowed down to just him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And just the extreme isolation that he must feel That's another thing that I think people can relate to as of last year. Isolation and feeling like you're never, or at least not in the foreseeable future, going to have any kind of human interaction.
Well, that's another reason the voiceover works. It enhances that sense of isolation, because it's literally
Absolutely.
just him talking to himself for that whole opening, like, I don't know, 20 minutes of the movie.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I would probably be doing the same thing. Just I probably would have started doing that long before, just because I talk to myself all the time anyway. So I probably would have just been like, John, we're doing this. We're moving the corpses to the pit. We're going to get some garlic and everything else. But yeah. Anyway, I hope everyone's enjoying it so far. I think it's a really underrated movie. I say underrated, even though it did well at the time. But I mean, not a lot of people. They kind of, when they think of I Am Legend, they mostly just think of the Will Smith one, but I actually kind of feel like this one's better, honestly, if I'm being real. No shade towards Big Willie, but I feel like.
But this movie set up the kind of the stage for a lot of the zombie pandemic virus affecting kind of movies and everything that came after. What we think of as zombie movies, this is where it came from, even though they're vampires, not zombies.
Right, exactly. And then when we talked about a little bit about how there are like kind of different kinds of vampires in this, they don't really touch a whole lot on this one about one of the other types that I don't really want to say anything about.
Yeah, we're not
yeah, but it's interesting to say the least. And it's sort of all I'm going to say is it kind of leads you into that he who hunts monsters, that type of thing, so I mean, that's kind of, that's definitely wasn't the first story to do that, but it probably the first modern story to really kind of popularize that way of storytelling.
I agree.
Yeah. All right, so let's
we're gonna get started, but again, fair warning, the dog scene, it's a kick in the feels, folks.
Yeah, trigger warning.
And
Come back! Hey, boy, where are you? Where are you, pal? Come here.
They're dead. They've been staked. But these are made of iron, not wood, like mine. Someone else is alive in this world. But where are they? Where are they hiding? How many are there? Where did they come from? Why haven't I seen them? This is Robert Morgan. If somebody can hear me, answer me. For God's sake, answer me. This is KOKW calling. KOKW calling. Answer me. You finally decided to come back. It's all right, boy. Good boy. Oh, no. Don't worry, boy. You're going to be all right. Yes, you are. There, now we've got you all cleaned up. You're gonna feel better. I'm gonna put you down here now and you can rest. Got you all cleaned up. There you go. Rest. Oh. You know they're out there, don't you? You poor, driven thing. Everything's gonna be all right. Nobody's gonna hurt you. Everything's gonna be all right. All right. You're going to get better. We're gonna have lots of happy times together. You'll see, everything's gonna be fine. What's the use?
Wait, I'm not gonna hurt you. Can't you understand? Wait! Wait! I'm not going to hurt you. Wait! 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 I couldn't be out here in the daylight if I was one of them. You know that they can't come out until sundown. Do you want to come with me or do you want to face them?
feeling better?
Yes,
Would you like a cup of coffee?
thank you. You seem very well organized here.
Yeah.
My name is Ruth Collins. I was married. I lost my husband. You are alone? You were married.
Yes.
Children?
A daughter.
What are you doing? Please stop, please. Stop it, please. You're making me sick.
Why do you turn
Please.
away?
Please.
Why do you turn away? You are infected.
No.
Infected systems are allergic to garlic.
You think I'm one of them?
You will be.
You've made up your mind just because
You can't change the facts by talking.
Facts? What facts? That I got sick? I've had a sensitive stomach all my life. I saw my husband killed, torn to pieces right in front of our house. I've been wandering ever since, hiding at night, not eating more than scraps, sick with mourning, sick with fear, unable to sleep. Then you shout at me. You chased me across a field, hit me, dragged me to this house. And to top it all, when I get sick because you shove a piece of reeking garlic in my face, you tell me I'm infected.
Where are
Let
you
me
going?
go.
You can't go out there. It's almost sunset.
Let me go,
You
I
can't
said.
go out there now. In a few
I
minutes, the
don't
streets
care.
will be full
Let
up.
me go.
At
I don't
least let me give you a
care.
blood test.
Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't touch me.
You must be hungry. I'll fix you some dinner. You know, you should eat.
I can't. You seem used to them.
Oh, as much as anybody could be. I'm not frightened of them anymore, if that's what you mean. Oh, I protect myself against them, but only because there's so many. Individually, they're weak, mentally incompetent, like animals after a long famine. If they weren't, they surely would have found a way of breaking in here a long time ago.
Come out, Morgan.
Hear that? That's Ben Cortman. He was my friend.
Your friend?
He was like a kid brother. If I could find him and destroy him.
But you said he was your friend.
When I find him, I'll drive a stake through him, just like all the others.
But you lived through all this. Do you know why?
Perhaps I was chosen. That's a laugh. Or perhaps it's because a long time ago when I worked in Panama, I was bitten in my sleep by a bat. My theory is that the bat had previously acquired the vampire germ. By the time it entered my blood, it had been strained and weakened by the bat system. As a result, I have immunity. Well, it's only a guess, but it's all I have to go on.
You don't think that I'm immune, do you?
It's a simple matter to find out whether you are or not.
What will you do if I am infected? Cure me? You don't have to answer. I know as well as you do. It's incurable.
There might be a way. If not of killing the germ, at least of containing it, keeping it from spreading. If I had the equipment, the time.
Which you don't.
You are one of them.
I was. And without that injection, I'll be one again.
What do you mean? You found a solution?
That's right. Exactly as you said it could be. I take that for it.
What is it?
Defibrinated blood plus vaccine. The blood feeds the germ. The vaccine keeps it isolated and prevents it from multiplying. We've had it for some time now.
We?
There are quite a number of us.
And I thought you were alone. I was going to cure you. Does that amuse you?
No.
Now, I want the truth. I want all of it. Why are you here?
To find out if you know any more than we do. You know far less. We're alive. Infected, yes, but alive. We're going to reorganize society. Do away with all those wretched creatures who are neither alive nor dead. Start everything all over again.
And you want me to join?
You can't join us. You're a monster to them. Why do you think I ran when I saw you? Even though I was assigned to spy on you. Because I was so terrified of what I'd heard about you. You're a legend in the city, moving by day instead of night. Leaving as evidence of your existence bloodless corpses. Many of the people you destroyed were still alive. Many of them were loved ones of the people in my group.
I didn't know.
Is there any way you can get out of here?
What do you mean?
They're coming after you tonight. That's why I was sent here. To prevent you from resisting them. I'm supposed to keep you here until they come.
To kill me?
Yes.
Your new society sounds charming.
The beginning of any society is never charming or gentle.
And you pretended to be shocked at my violence. Well, what are you waiting for? Why don't you go on and use it? Get it over with. Use it. Get it over with.
All right, and there we are. So, not all of the dead are actually dead.
Yeah, it in the book, like we were talking about earlier, they go into that a little bit more. about how you have people who are actually infected, and then you have corpses that are, reanimated. Also, they don't talk about it at all in this, but they explain in the book something I really like is that they actually try to rationalize why a wooden stake kills a vampire, but like a bullet doesn't kill a vampire.
Yep.
And it's because they have this like body glue inside
Body
of them.
glue.
That, like,
they literally call it body glue. Yeah.
That like when they get injured by certain things, it basically heals up quickly.
So
but
so you need that. Basically, their bodies are like think of like a inflatable tube. So except a self-repairing tire or something. So you can puncture the tire and it'll be fine. It'll seal itself up. But if you have something stab into that tire and keep that hole open, that's what kills it.
It's something to do with the bacteria goes from anaerobic to aerobic or something, and it attacks their immune system and kills them.
Well, it does more than that. So what it does is it actually prepares, because it also does the same thing. So either if they don't get enough blood, it has this effect on them, and if they get like punctured, it has an effect on it. So it basically prepares the spores of the bacteria for travel. So it feeds upon the body.
Right.
And that's why when he stakes them, sometimes if they're already dead, they just kind of disappear into dust. It's because the bacteria's already smoochified them for travel.
There's not a lot.
And that's why you also have those dust storms in the book and in the movie that they don't really talk about. The dust is literally vampires that died again, permanently died, and were discorporated.
Yeah, they're just corpse dust fluttering around everywhere.
So that's why you're getting sick. Is you're literally just vampire dust.
Also, I want to say I think it's this sounds awful, but the dog scene is sad. But then for me, it goes straight from sad to comical, because what we kind of talked about earlier, what outside the show, was that they really wanted you to understand that he had to stake, or that he had to kill the dog. So instead of just showing that the dog is in a pillowcase and he's burying it, they show a pillowcase with a comically large wooden stake impaling. It's just
but what's worse though is that we just found out that if he'd had this vaccine, the dog would have been perfectly fine.
He could have saved the dog. Yeah.
So he just staked this sick dog because he just didn't know any better, because he had that superstition that they were actual, like, gothic Bram Stoker Dracula vampires.
Yeah. The importance of vaccinations. That's all I'm going to say about that. But yes, we're reaching the climax of the film very soon. What do you make of what do our viewers make of these strange staked figures with the iron spikes pressed through their chests instead of wooden stakes? We're gonna find out what happened with that. Who the mystery vampire slayers are.
Yep.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. And we're rolling.
What are you going to do?
are you doing?
It's already done.
What?
Look. Look. You see? It worked, Ruth. The antibodies in my blood worked. My blood has saved you, Ruth. Do you know what this means? You and I can save all the others. We won't be alone. We'll never be alone again.
You are sure?
Wait. Don't be afraid. Where are you
I've
going?
got to get out of here. Tell them you're not a
You
threat
can't
to us.
go out there. You
Save
wouldn't
all of
get
us.
10 feet.
When they come here, there won't be time for questions and answers. They'll come to kill. For God's sakes, Robert, let me go. Oh, Robert, please.
Ruth, look, tomorrow.
Please. Oh, Robert.
Tomorrow, Ruth. Tomorrow will be all right.
Robert, no. Robert.
Yes, Ruth.
What if this doesn't last?
But it will. I've already checked it under the microscope. Wait, I'll show you. I'll prove it to you. I'll check it again. Ruth, just take a look at this. This'll prove it to you. Ruth, there's no change. I've double-checked.
Robert!
Ruth. Ruth!
Robert!
Ruth, get away from her! Ruth, are you all right? Are you all right?
Run, Robert! Robert, run! Robert, run! They've come to kill you, Robert. Run! Run!
Up there!
There he is.
Wait! You don't understand! Wait!
Get him! Get him! This way. Hey, over here. This way. Got her outside. Stand back.
There he is, in the church.
Freaks. All of you. All of you freaks. Mutations.
Hold it.
You're freaks. I'm a man. The last man.
Robert.
They were afraid of me. They were afraid of me. They were afraid of me.
I didn't know.
Don't cry. There's nothing to cry about. We're all safe now. All safe.
And there you have it, folks. The exciting conclusion to The Last Man on Earth.
They were afraid of me. I love it. I love it, but his reaction is so much different than in, not to keep making comparisons. I know that that can be obnoxious, but in the book, there's the whole thing that, it's called I Am Legend, because to this other society, he is a monster. Like, he is
definitely
a myth, more myth than man. He is the equivalent of, he's the boogeyman to,
right. So so he was
vampires.
killing the creatures of the old world, the vampires, but in doing so, he became the monster of the new world.
Yeah,
the evil daywalker who stalked the streets while everybody was asleep, killing them.
Exactly.
Kind of cool. So
Yeah.
I Am Legend refers to the fact that he was the legend.
Yes.
The big bad, the monster.
He who hunts monsters, etc.
Becomes a monster. Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. That ending, I think, is pretty great. But I almost always expect, when I see an old movie that has the last scene, last scene shows the end, I would almost always expect a question mark. I can't think of the first movie that did that, where it made you think, oh, is this really the end? Is there going to be a sequel? Which there did end up being sequels to, at least the story.
Well, there was a sequel to the second version of the movie with Charlton Heston.
Yeah. Omega
I never
Man
saw it, but I found it when I was doing some research. So they did make a sequel to that, not necessarily to the movie, just to the book, but a sequel to the movie.
Yeah.
That one was weird. The Charlton Heston one with the weird albino.
The Family, I think, is what they call it.
Yeah, the Family. Yeah, the
Family,
Charles Manson albino vampire.
Mutant albino Manson family.
Yeah, that was.
There's actually a an episode of The Simpsons, Treehouse of Horrors, where they have a spoof of that. That actually, it's pretty much exactly the same, except for obviously comical, where they have these, they're wearing robes and stuff, and they're, it's all the townspeople of Springfield, but they're all mutant, deformed, and they're trying to kill the family. But yeah, so yeah, there are different versions of it. I really like this one, actually. I think it's more entertaining. Exactly. You haven't made it until you're on The Simpsons.
Oh, well, okay. So for those who didn't understand what those things were, so there were sort of three sort of classes of vampire. So everybody was infected. So either when you got this disease, either you outright died, or you didn't really die, you were just sort of infected. So you were either, and everybody who was infected had some sort of change. They couldn't stand the smell of garlic, because garlic is an antiseptic, so it hurts the bacteria. That's what that is. Everybody's teeth grew slightly, because again, I don't know, for some reason, I don't know how that applies to the bacteria. Oh, because the bacteria needs blood to survive. So everybody got the teeth.
They evolved fangs.
And the way it worked was that so they didn't eat. So when she says, I don't need to eat, that's because the host supplies blood to the bacteria, and the bacteria keeps the body alive-ish. And that's how you got that third class of vampire, who was sort of being kept alive, but they still had their cognitive functions, but they still needed to take some sort of serum to appeal to that bacteria in them, because if they didn't, then the bacteria just kind of ate them.
Yeah, they're
turned into the mindless.
Somewhat cured, as long as they take their meds, basically.
Yeah, they were fine.
And I saw someone asked as well about why wood worked and not metal. They talk about that a bit in the book as well. And it has something to do with like the piercing, the wood,
it makes
splintering. That's
the material makes no difference at all. but he didn't have to use wood. Wood was a Bram Stoker holdoff from him thinking it as a supernatural creature, whereas they weren't.
Right. But I feel like they said something in the book about how it splintered, though, or something like that, which
well,
made
it just kept the hole open.
Yeah, but
that's long enough for the bacteria to break down the body, and then they would just kind of, or for them to be thrown into a pile of fire.
I think that if you remove the steak, they would probably
right. Then the body glue came in, and
unless
then yeah,
right.
Unless the bacteria didn't have enough blood, and then it broke them down into particles.
Yeah, the movie. When you think about it, the movie raises a lot of questions that the book just straight up answers, and they just didn't really. Strangely enough, with them sharing the same author, they didn't really think to put it in there, or maybe they just didn't think people would be interested in all the minutia. They weren't expecting people like us, I guess.
Yeah.
But probably it might also be a cultural thing with, as far as Italian people, how they look at movies, how they intake movies.
Well, I think Italian movies were more Italian cinema is all kind of a little more hyped up to enhance the emotional state of things. That's why you got that kind of melodramatic feel to everything.
More romantic, kind of, in a way.
Right. But at the same time, they wanted to be very much American. That's why, even though it's filmed in Rome, it's Los Angeles. And that's why they changed all the signs, and that's why everybody's speaking English, even though it's completely not in any way at all.
Yeah.
Because American sells. Even though we've proven over and over again that we will buy Italian stuff. We will watch Italian movies.
Be it movies, cars, what have you.
Yeah. But in order for it to sell, it had to be American.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, in this movie, like I talked about before, the dubbing isn't as bad or noticeable as it is in other movies. I mentioned The House by the Cemetery.
Except for the little kid. Except for hideously obvious with a little girl.
For some reason, little kids in these movies, in the Italian movies with dubbing, they are their voices are the worst.
Well, that's because they're not little kids. They
it's a grown.
They weren't able to actually use children, so it was always adults, kind of just making that high pitched squeaky voice, which clearly did not work.
Right. Well, I mentioned The House by the Cemetery earlier, and it has one of the worst cases of that. The little boy in that Bob.
Oh yeah.
He's also, it doesn't help that he's also a very strange looking child as well. So you hear this weird looking little kid, you see this weird looking little kid, and then he's like, "Mommy, there's a woman with no feet in the bathroom." Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And it's very shrill, and it's very like jarring to hear.
Yeah.
But does anyone have any questions or anything about the movie or about anything at all? No? Okay.
No, that's okay.
That's fine.
Wait, hold on. Maybe. Somebody's got to think about it for a moment.
Yes. And we do have an announcement to make in a moment. Oh, good. Thank you, Todd. Thank you, Todd and Jeff, and anyone else who enjoyed this. We like doing it. We love doing it. This will unfortunately, just because of things happen. This will at least for now be our last streaming episode.
Through the Boone County Public Library, yes.
Through the library, yes. But we will be starting up a Papa Condor YouTube channel in the very near future, and we will do streaming movies through this or through YouTube. I mean, not through this. Through YouTube, and we will also be doing movie reviews. Probably just discuss whatever Kevin and I want to ramble on about.
And speaking of which, we've got a preview. So
yes,
we're going to play that now. And if you have any questions about that, or you want to question anything about ourselves once we've shown that, there we go. Or here we go as soon as it shares properly.
In the dream, you are falling, lost in the listening distance. as dark locks in.
Hello and welcome back to Pop Condor's Petrifying Picture Show. Yes, I see back because we've had not just one, but two shows you've probably never seen before and never will. Check that out. With us today would be Papa Condor himself, but he's apparently been petrified in time and space, probably by an arch nemesis, Clockwork Chronomancer. Let's call him that. While he's waiting to be unstuck in time and space, I am going to bring you a preview of our upcoming show, Attack of the Giant Leeches. Enjoy. Yeah, well, wasn't that something? I just love the way, he's looking at the creature right in its eyes, and it's looking back at him right in the eyes, and it's kind of sharing a glance across the swamp. It's magic, people. Bob Condor, can you hear me? Like once, twice? No? Okay. So, again, please join us for our show, Attack of the Giant Leeches, coming to you soon. How soon? I have no idea. Time and space.
I love it. I love it.
Huh. And there you have it.
Love it. And for anyone who tunes in, prepare to be just bombarded with all kinds of leech facts that you're not going to want to know, because I love leeches. Leeches are really cool.
Hideous. They're like, yeah.
They're awesome though. They're so cool. They still use them in medicine today.
They do. They do.
But that's a tale for a different time.
That will be coming as soon as we actually schedule time to sit down and do it. So yeah, soon.
So soon, yeah. And we'll let everyone know through every social media network that we have, through the interwebs. We'll let everybody know about that. And
totally. I Love Lucy, just with leeches.
Yes, I love leeches.
Oh, I would watch that show.
Yeah. So be prepared for just the next. This isn't goodbye. This is just the next. This is the next wave for us. It's the next platform for us, and we'll have all kinds of cool stuff in store.
Yeah.
So we hope that you will tune in with us then.
And thank you all for being here tonight. And if you see a bunch of dust storms, don't inhale. Wear a mask.
Yes.
That's the lesson.
Be careful what you inhale.
Yes. And if you think your neighbors are vampires, don't stake them randomly. Do some science first.
Just be like, hey, will you sniff this new garlic perfume?
Yeah. Just kind of like
trying out and
I
see
made
how
you
they
a pot of spaghetti. How do you feel now? And if they kind of shy away, then just go, maybe they're vampires, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Be accepting of your vampire friends.
It takes all kinds.
It does take all kinds. All right, and with that, good night, everybody. We're gonna be signing off. Again, join us next time for Papa Condor's Petrifying Picture Show. Not all.
Goodbye.